Tally ho, internet! My name is VXE and welcome to Growing My Grandpa. I'm streaming this live at the moment, so this is going to be both like an actual dedicated YouTube video, like my normal style, but it's also going live. You can see you've got Guston, who you may have seen in the comments of like every one of my videos. So please say hi in the comments below to Guston. Guston, say hi to everyone.
Howdy y'all.
Yeah. Growing My Grandpa. This is a Yames game. I have seen, like, I've watched Markiplier's, like Discover My Body. And, like, there's this other one that he produced really recently, which I watched John Wolfe play, which is, like, it's, like, something to do with a well. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's go ahead and start. Please read! This game is designed to be played with a mouse. The input required of you is based around clicking the mouse buttons. The right mouse button will change the cursor's image and function. Only when pointing, indicated by the extended index finger, can you, the player, interact with certain menu buttons and prompts. Please click below in the pointing mode to continue. The second cursor mode is indicated by the cursor's image featuring a hand extending all fingers. Don't mind about the text delay. Don't you worry about it. It's fine. This mode concerns interacting with objects inside the world, mainly picking up an object and moving it into another position. To continue, please pick up the piece of trash on the right and place it in the trash can on the left. Remember, the right mouse button will change the cursor's mode, but when holding something, the mode cannot be changed until the cursor is not holding something. And I think I'm seeing there that I'm not getting any game audio. God damn it. Why now? Come on. Why now? Growing My Grandpa was not added to the executable. There we go. Now we have game audio. Although I can't really tell. There's supposed to be audio ducking and the audio ducking isn't working. This is a process, y'all. I'm telling you. That's why. Okay, now there's audio ducking. So you should be able to hear me pretty clearly even when there's stuff going on in the game. Perfect. Let's pick up the trash and put it in the trash. There will be many situations in Growing My Grandpa that will require you to pick things up, place things, grab things, or give things. Don't be afraid to experiment and keep an open mind about using your hand. Please click the button below to continue. Remember, menu buttons must be clicked in the pointer mode. Very serious about that. Give it a finger. In order to expedite the cleaning process, you can use digits 1, 2, and 3 on your keyboard to reposition the trash can below. Wow. Try moving the can to the right of the screen in order to continue. Which I just did. Well done. Please click the continue button to move on. A variety of video options can be changed at any time through the use of the function keys, F3, F4, and F5. Different shader effects? Oh, okay. Gotcha. We'll keep it on low. It gives it a little bit of a character. Press F4 to cycle through display resolution options. I'm not going to mess with that because I've already figured out this window. Press F5 to change cursor types. There are 3 cursor types available, plus 3 left-handed variants. Oh, that's nice. I actually kind of like the see-through hand. I get a feeling, yeah, I think the trash can moving is gonna be important. I agree. Guston. Configure options overlay. Oh, okay, it just tells me what I can do. That's fine. This ends the tutorial. I hope you enjoy entry number 2 in the Yames Secret Games Growing My Grandpa. Infinite thanks to my patrons for believing in me and my work. Very well deserved. Holy shit. That was exceptionally loud. Guston, is that Is that too loud? I think it's a little too loud. We believe in you, Yames. Yeah, okay, that is the correct thing. Sorry, I was just adjusting the volume. I excused Adrienne during music class today and spoke with her about her recent string of demerits. It was our first time meeting outside of our quarterly evaluations, and I believe it went well. I can certainly understand Mrs. Richardson's classroom observations concerning Adrienne's emotional state. She was, of course, intensely shy when we first met. As I understand it, she is similarly withdrawn in her classroom activities and only speaks or acts when she absolutely must. Some things she simply will not do. Instead of participating in mandatory group activities, she will sit alone and accept that she will receive a demerit. Before the meeting, I read Mrs. Richardson's parent-teacher report, which allowed me to estimate some about Adrienne's home life. The parents are well educated and come from a prestigious background, but they lack time to properly nurture Adrienne. She is often alone, and when she is not, the parents seem to not understand the importance of warmth and affirmation when dealing with someone so young. Having two parents of this reserved and icy temperament exacts an inhibition in a child. The child's imagination is subdued, but only ostensibly, for it eventually finds its way into regular life. I surmised that I would be able to reach out to Adrienne by way of make-believe. Check out that... No, actually, that's this recording. That's kind of useless. I need to turn that off. Okay, that's not going to show up again. Oh, wow. How are you liking your new house? You've told me you used to live close by, but it still can be a big adjustment. A new room, a new school. I think I might need to turn off the chat. Actually, maybe it makes more sense to move it. Yo, if it's gonna let me, there we go. I just want to see if that's a little more suitable. The basement. I like that. The basement? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cool stuff. Mum and Dad sent me down there. Your mum and dad made you go? Yeah. But there's lots of cool stuff. Well, that's not why they sent me down there, though. Why did they send you down there? Fighting. They were fighting. Shouting. I came in to help and they shouted at me. So they said, go clean up downstairs. So I went. That sounds tough. Do they fight a lot? No. Well, they are... It's alright, Adrienne. Maybe you can tell me more about the basement instead. Okay. Well, it was weird at first. The stuff down there, but cool. I found something living. Sort of. That's very interesting, Adrienne. Please, tell me more. By indulging her in her fantasies and stories, I was to glean more of an understanding of Adrienne's anxiety surrounding her home and parents. The symbols of Adrienne's story seem to carry their own traumatic weight, and her exploration of the basement may very well be a vehicle for the conveyance of her anxiety. Whatever might come out of our next meeting, whether she will engage in similar make-believe, I will set down her story here. Adrienne's story begins with her delving into the basement with a trash receptacle and the goal of cleaning up. Guston, I'm scared. She discovered one of the walls was covered in plastic bags. She went to investigate, intent on tearing away whatever they covered. Oh! Oh, this is beautiful! Look at that! Oh, let's just go ahead and... do I need to... Can I, I've already failed the game. Oh, I have to click on the word trash bags. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I guess we'll go ahead and get rid of the detritus. Upon removing the plastic trash bags from the wall, she noticed the interior lining was covered in glass. Like a window, I offered. No, she said. Like a mirror. Reflecting inwards towards the animal they covered. I gently asked her what animal exactly this was. Here is where the material reality of the story took a turn for the explicitly fantastic and imaginary. Whoa! I just want to turn off the AC for this, but I also need to very quickly change this setting around. Because I need to change it to the Yeti microphone. There we go. And again, just double checking the sound is correct. I think it is. Actually, let me double check. Yeah, we're good. Upon her discovery of it, at her gaze, it grew or extended. Its shaggy-haired self, hair like fur, like a dog, I offered. No, she said. Not the fur of a dog, nor the hair on her head. It grew out towards her, the animal's hair, reaching out. It was hard. I'm going to be sweating bullets. Standing almost straight like the hair on a brush. A bristle, I offered. Yes, she said. She was very afraid at first, but then very curious. I asked her what else was in the room. More things hidden away, she said. Things of Grandpa's as well. First, she found a hidden passage under the stairs. Inside were strange dolls, magic objects, naked, faceless figures. I heard these cryptic utterances and merely nodded. In order to keep the game of make-believe going, I only pressed for details where I thought necessary. The faceless dolls could be a simple metaphor for the anonymity she feels in her own home. The hidden passage? I'm unsure of what to make of that. The revealing of the concealed seems to be thematic in her fantasy. The door under the stairs is but one example. I can kind of see a shape in here, and I don't like it. This kind of looks like a hand, but I feel like I'm kind of seeing a teddy bear here, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but all right. See ya. What else do we have? Trash pile. Let's go ahead and clean that up. Oh, is there nothing that I can clean up here? No? Okay. What about you? It's not a lot that I can click on at the moment. Okay, what's to the left? Darkness. Yeah, it's very, very much kind of Lovecraftian. The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some form of light. Okay, I mean, I didn't see a light. Can I... Hello, do you have a light? Can I... I just want to... I feel like you're holding out on me. Okay, well, I feel like I should be able to, like, investigate something around here. There are footsteps. Oh, I'm wondering if it's the parents fighting upstairs. I bet that's what it is. I am seeing absolutely nothing else that I can, like, do. Oh, would you look at that? Okay. Once she removed the panel and found the magical hidden passage, she was very specific about what she took. She found a magic book, a magic doll, a photo of her late grandpa, and magic glue. Oh, boy! Is that Dobby? Master Harry Potter, I've been waiting for you. Search the closet before I take the doll. What the fuck? Oh my god, it's a butthole. Oh, there's the glue. All-purpose glue. Oh. Eurasian steppe shamanism and the fusiform gyrus, an interdisciplinary study in sympathetic magic. A dissertation by Jacob Hart. I can read it now! Why not? The impetus of this research was the recognition of a particular pattern in fragments of documents relating to magic and magico-religious practices. Numerous sources were drawn from: commentaries on laws relating to the banning of sorcery and necromancy, compilations of folk charms relating to love spells, hagiographs of saints and their encounters with devils. The list spans many centuries and a great distance, from the Levant to the Khazar Khaganate, to the border of the modern nation-states of Russia and Kazakhstan today. From this paper trail arose a consistent account about a certain form of magic relating to the binding of demons to a sorcerer's will. A demon called the Heaven of Needles, or the Angel of Needles, was known to be kept best by shamanic keepers or wards who suffer from face blindness, or prosopagnosia, whether by birth or through developmental causes like a stroke or a head injury. It was known to be extremely effective, but terribly dangerous, so much so that it became outlawed several times and was generally a popular scapegoat relating to unexpected death. This nexus of magico-religious meaning-making, sorcery regarding human-related desires, and a history and science of neurological... Just making sure that everything was still running. Related to the fusiform gyrus is where the subject of this dissertation will reside. I will outline further and then analyze the historical resources I mentioned previously, then I'll go into the neurology of mystic and magico-religious experiences. After that, I will detail my ongoing correspondence with a resident of the Ural mountain region, who is an expert folklorist and a keeper of traditions he claims have been passed down through the extended family for generations. Okay, I will not pretend that I understood a single word of any of that. All clean. This space will not be dirty again until next week. There is a lot of magic. Yes, that is a very good point. There is a lot of folklore in... yeah. A photo of your late grandfather. Read now! Mr. PhD. On the reverse side of the photograph there is more text. Good luck on your trip to the Urals. Stay warm. Okay, I'm gonna take the doll. A slouching doll. Its material is rough and coarse. I interrupted to ask what she did with these magical, mysterious materials. Grow grandpa, she explained plainly, and then without missing a beat, she continued on with her story. Feeling this was a potent symbol, I stopped her again to ask what she meant. Somewhat puzzled, I did not understand immediately. She explained slowly. Grandpa lives in a cage in the other room, the cage behind the door. They grew people in the cage. Oh yeah, you just got it. Yeah, that's it. That's all the explanation that we need. Carry on, please, by all fucking means. There is nothing new in this trash pile, I imagine, so... I just want to see if anything different is going on with... Nope. Oh, we have another note. A hastily written note. That's how we got Nicolas Cage. He was grown from an actual cage. Let's read this now. I have repeatedly called your homes to no avail, and so I am forced to leave this here for you all. I found William sitting in the corner of the enclosure area, seemingly severely concussed. Whiskers was gone, in none of its usual hiding places. I immediately suspected the worst. The project thus must be suspended for now. I'm leaving up the usual mirrored coverings we use to keep the anthropoetic void sealed. I've done my best to lock up everything on such short notice. It is a hasty fix, but it will require some time to find a more permanent remedy. I am honestly hoping that you do not find this note, as I intend to lock the house down too. I intend to race off to you to retrieve your lockbox keys. Do not worry about William's key. It and the rest of his equipment is almost certainly deep within Whiskers now. Okay, I pray you do not enter this room. No matter how it may appear, William cannot be helped, and is only being kept alive as a means of continuing predation on the rest of us. What the fuck? They're growing Grandpa to predate everyone, huh? That's so uncomfy. I will say once again, no matter what state you may encounter William in, he cannot be helped. I have compassion for the young man, but I found on his person several photos of his late sister, which would imply certain risks he knew he was taking. Our extant research materials have now become possible liabilities, either criminal or professional in nature, so I have stashed them away. I believe I let you all know how I might do this if we were ever to experience an event such as this. I hope you all remember what I told you. So long then. Dr. H. Oh. Wait, what? A note on an experiment. For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract you have signed. Do not break the anthropoetic vacuum without my prior consultation and approval. Any anthropoetic forms brought into the enclosure area must not be left unattended. When not in dormancy, the sample will attempt to take anthropoid shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. Oh. I fucked up. I now can't see the 4th page. So, that's great. Oh, I also fucked that up as well. Perfect. Alright, never mind. Ritual behavior with the sample, trading/bargaining, will result in dismissal from the project. This is even creepier now that... Yeah, I hope so. I hope so too. Fuck the reanimator. The precise mechanism of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for the requested desirous yield is not known, and even the anecdotal accounts of success are illegible. I can't read what that's supposed to say. End in violent death. Okay, well that's my sign to enter the room then. Beyond the door in the room, the cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. It is strange, almost poetic. The elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. This therapist is, like, really overthinking this whole thing. Are they like stitches? At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing, she confided, at first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa. Yes? She combined them, and she wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next her wish would come true. In what child's story would it not? I need a drink. This is... I don't know why I just unscrewed the top. I didn't need to do that. This is, like, just mind-bending at the moment. Oh boy. I am going to go ahead and hide the chat just for now. There we go. Oh. Oh. Why does it look like it's empty? Hi, Grandpa. Oh. I don't like this decision. Particular human representation. That's going to be trying to grow Grandpa. Generic human figure. I don't know why it's giving me that option. But we're trying to grow Grandpa, so I guess we want to go for a particular human. Which is Grandpa. Oh! That's what it is. This is where I now add the doll. And I glued them together. PHR. I'm sorry, Guston, I'm a huge idiot. I don't know what PHR means. Oh look, it's Grandpa! He's never looked better! Looking real spry there, Grandpa. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. She put Grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instruction she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. She wished with all her heart, and then she told me she waited a while for something, anything, to happen, and after that time, she began to cry. I cried really hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. And it hurt me. It hurt me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls and it felt me through the air. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrienne and she left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I have employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper, if I can. Although I can be sure of nothing I interpret, the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. This is going to go so well, Guston. What could possibly go wrong? We've got a magic ritual. We've got a little doll. We've got what, an effigy to a person. We have a physical representation of their likeness. Nothing can go wrong. We have been taught time and time again through time immemorial and fiction spanning many, many centuries that nothing can go wrong when you try to practice magic. I'm not going to say black magic because it's not, I mean, sure, there's an implication of black magic, but it's not being called black magic. So, it's kind of heady of me to assume it's just gonna be black magic. It's not black magic, okay? I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it's gonna go wrong, but I'm just saying, we've got a lot of history with stuff going wrong with black magic. Not that this is black magic. We're gonna be just fine. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. How long is this game? I've gained the conversation topic wish.com. Sponsoring this video. I'm joking. Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. You've also gained the following keyword. Shell. Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. Holy shit. Oh, I'm gonna have to clean this place again, huh? Oh, man. I met again with Adrienne in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It is our second time meeting, and while it is standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, As I assemble a report for the counselling department, I could not help but think, as we sat down in my office, that Adrienne already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence, and perhaps my and Mrs. Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous. The paralysing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrienne possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew into herself again. So once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrienne's grandfather, and I had some insight into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now, this may be overstepping my bounds some as a school counselling caseworker, but this was all in service of making Adrienne comfortable and happy in this learning environment. In any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name in memorial. He was some sort of anthropologist, or linguist, or neuroscientist. I didn't have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. What is your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then? You have been feeding him well? Yeah, he's getting bigger, but he has a lot of room in his cage. He's still behind the bars? Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually. There's this vent in the ceiling. Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I could meet him someday. Yeah, maybe, but he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you store the food in your lunchbox? That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. She's just a bust. You cannot speak with him? He doesn't have a mouth, sort of. But how do you feed him? He has a mouth on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that there's his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa? Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrienne began another tale. According to Adrienne, in the week that had passed, much had changed in the basement. Well, it looks the same to me. Although, our friend is gone. The hairy thing that was here before is gone. Well, I figured I couldn't pick that up. I should go see Grandpa first. Sure thing. Let's go and see Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa. Oh, wait, Grandpa, do I have to? Oh, I don't have the particulars required for growing another grandpa. It was scary at first, she said. The way he moved, the way the dull skin covered him. I wanted to interject, but this somehow seemed inappropriate. I kept listening. When I looked at him, she continued, when I think about him, he grows and moves. It's like he is growing for me. So he's growing bigger now, I asked. Yes, she said. Bigger every day. Whoa! Whoa! Hey, Grandpa! This begins the actual growing part of growing your grandpa. Beneath the doll's burlap skin, the follicles knit together what resembles a proper person. Your grandpa. You're in charge of its cognitive development and diet until it is able to sustain itself. Currently, you are observing Grandpa. Please click the arrow back button below for a brief tutorial of your duties as caretaker. Here we can see it for... Fuck! Sorry. I needed to yawn. Here we can see a variety of options regarding growing your grandpa. Highlighted in red are objectives related to feeding and teaching Grandpa. Important messages regarding Grandpa's recent activity will also appear here. You will need to find it food. It. I'm feeling real confused right now. You'll need to feed it food and learning material before you can move on to the next week. Some foods will make Grandpa happy. Others merely content. Some food will make Grandpa disgusted to the point of nausea. Learning material is also scattered throughout the basement. Seek out vocabulary cards intended to help teach English and basic anthropoidic concept formation. The options highlighted in red are related to navigating around Grandpa's enclosure. The Go to Grandpa option will let you perform all actions directly related to Grandpa: feeding, teaching, observing, etc. I don't know what it is. When I talk a lot, I yawn a lot. Accessing the study corner will let you go over any documents you pick up as the weeks go by. Oh, so can I like go back and read the documents that I totally fucked up on? It's a good idea to learn about the work of the people who last occupied this space. Accessing the kitchen corner will let you search for food in the old refrigerator and prepare food for Grandpa, if need be. The help button will replay this tutorial. The save game button will save your current progress. You can only have one save file at a time, so if you have save data, you will be asked if it is okay to overwrite it. Exiting and relaunching the game will allow you to load your save from the main menu by clicking the continue button. More buttons may or may not appear depending on your development of Grandpa, so watch out for them. One final note, take care to explore the basement at your leisure. However, due to the entropic nature of clutter and trash, different weeks may allow you to find things you had not previously discovered. Good luck. Okay, well, I guess I should look around a little bit first. Wow. Trash. And here we have the natural trash pile. Teach Grandpa this word to read the notes of past educators. Oh. That is a really loud noise. Corroded battery. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. Oh yeah, you know, because Grandpa's known for his battery acid diet. Okay. Bulbous growth. Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take another look. Or you take a closer look. Oh, lovely. A pulsating sac. This slimy membrane that is its skin seems to contain something. It might be able to be opened with a blade. Okay, I can't explore there because it's too dark. Let's search the cabinet, shall we? Why does that look like the skin of a baby? Because it totally looks like a baby that's been skinned to death. Oh my god, why am I yawning? I hate it. Oh. Blueberries! Oh, they are actually blueberries. Look at that. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. I sure hope Grandpa likes these blueberries I found in this here cabinet. What is that? I hate this. It looks like a head. A doll's head? Oh, it is totally dolls' heads. Before we begin, he had us all cover our faces completely. An earthenware pot was illegible, and on the inside, as we stole brief glances at it, we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. The ineligible gave it small pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feed, illegible, keeping it content. The keeper gestured towards the small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. I asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act, however. He then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. I just wanna complain. Fuck, I'm sorry. I can't stop yawning. Oh, look, bottom drawer. Oh, a key. Safety. I have actually never heard of that as a pun for a safe before. Somehow. Okay. Search painting. I knew it! A folder full of radiographic images. I can study it in more detail at the table. Okay. What are you? Fiberglass insulation. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. Okay, well, we're definitely going to give him the bloobs. Grandpa deserves the bloobs, you know? Okay, well, it's nice and clean. Oh my god, please stop me from yawning. What's this? A simple paper doll. We can start making another grandpa! There's apparently still more around here. Somewhere. There we go. Well, yeah, but I've been going to bed at like 8 or 9 p.m. I've got work in the morning. I've got to go to bed. I've got work in the morning. Well, I don't actually have work in the morning, but usually I do. Which is why I'm so damn tired. Okay, still can't do anything with that. I don't think there's much more I can do, so I guess I should go to Grandpa now. Maybe let's cook him a blueberry pie. How about that? But I'm also going to save. Let's go to Grandpa. No, let's go to study corner real quick. Yeah, that's what I... Yeah, right. So, what did I missed? Note 2. The sample's exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its desirous yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Key conversation not related to lab work is a minimum. If you begin to suspect you're developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. Okay, thank you. I'm 100% falling asleep. Right, I want to see what these radiographic images are. Oh. Not quite sure what we're seeing here. Oh, it's a skull. I can't tell what that is. This is a really crap radiograph. Oh, that's why. Pengy is just chilling. Pengy's having a grand old time listening to me yell at video games. Intriguing results with regard to the mimic hypothesis. A participant entered a sealed chamber adjacent to Whiskers, growth cycle number 21, which had been freed from the anthropomorphic vacuum, constructed quite economically from plastic and broken mirrors. The first propagation's original earthenware vacuum was shattered during the move-in. Between the two, there was a semi-opaque glass panel that allowed observation both ways. The human participant was asked to think of someone in the popular consciousness. And cogitate on their image, personality, face if possible, voice if possible, etc. Our participant chose Jesus of Nazareth, and with weekly repeated exposures to the participant's imaginings, propagation number 21 began forming what resembled an anthropoid Nazarene in the fold of its spines. Previous human-oriented tests have always bore out a result that Whiskers would form an anthropoid team member, be it me or Dr. Hart or Gerald, and we assumed it was merely mimicking one of us. Dr. Hart has always contended the desirous yield, or the anthropoid reproduction Whiskers creates when in contact with human beings, has always been based on the conception and relation to the person through somebody else. With this framework, the desirous yield is not actually a replica of a person, or if it is, it's only a replica of the fiction of a person generated in the mind of another. The desirous yield was not Jesus Christ, but the participant's image of Jesus, assembled from their religious upbringing, religious artwork, depictions in popular culture, etc. This radiograph was taken right before the destruction of the growth cycle, while Whiskers was rendered unconscious via fumigation. It seems like with every successive propagation, the stem cells in the organism work a little faster, but I'm not paranoid. It's technically deathless, yes, but we're burning up whatever knowledge it's gained when we incinerate it. I don't believe in magic just yet. This is horrifying. So this is basically a skeleton of Jesus. We have taken to calling it Whiskers, though of course some have interpreted it as hair or needles or quills, but Whiskers is more accurate as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble these of genus Hydra, but have myelin sheaths that are functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to the organism's capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. It certainly is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. Yeah, it's what I call a spooky, scary skeleton. Propagation number 14. Exposure to mammalian forms, part of a series of zoomorphic influences, led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to simulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write simulate in the previous statement. I write simulate in the previous statement because examining the tissues of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for accelerated growth of vastly different forms comes from its cell-level mutability. And yet, at no time does it function as the thing it becomes, except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from dormancy and replicates a rabbit's morphology, it is not seeing from the rabbit's eyes, nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does, and doing a very good job of it. This kind of sounds like The Thing. This radiograph was taken at or around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was that the subject of the image was found nowhere near the enclosure. It's almost like a piece of Whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel like we've learned a lot since then, but at the time I remember speaking about the morphology being weird, not really even resembling any extant zoomorphic structure, besides maybe a cuttlefish. Then I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things, but they all sort of looked like they had faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered it up and went to go through it in the biohazard bin. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of the project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically a healthy and active brain capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers begins to pull whatever it can from the limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart just in case he wanted to take a look. What the fuck is going on? What the actual fuck? What do you mean search for? Oh my god, there's more stuff to search for? Holy shit, this game is like 1,000,000 times longer than I was expecting. What is this? Cashews. Yes, let's give cashews to Grandpa. Why not? Fucking... We got... shelf cashews. Oh, this space is clean, is it? It was said to pass from one family or steppe people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin, blah, 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 somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl covered in incantations, buried upside down by a graveyard. A common late antiquity demon trap. Pressed the wrong button. The keeper, an elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of its acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. What? What? What, Mr. White? I don't understand a word of this, Mr. White. I actually would just love to play like an infinite inventory video game. I don't know where I was going with that thought. Yeah, let's do that. Let's lick the walls and eat off the floor and definitely not think of the fact that this Whiskers thing is somewhere still here. Oh, look, I can teach it the word Grandpa. And I don't know if that's a terrible thing or a good thing. Oh, the space is clean. Lovely. Oh, the space is clean. The music has kind of changed a little bit. Oh, what was... Oh. There! Oh, that's a pair of eyes. You remove the taped down fabric to reveal the cabinet's wooden bottom. To my colleagues, I don't mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important, and the material we are working with, is potentially very dangerous. I'll be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I'm not trying to single out any particular person, but we all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. The active growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy is interrupted. It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropoidic vacuum has been disrupted, we are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide to termination has been posted by the enclosure wall. Please, please, please do not place the educational posters over this posting. Do not disrupt the anthropoidic vacuum without Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. Uh-oh. I feel like we've messed up just in many ways. In case of any emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make an extensive note of when and how the breach occurred. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately, but do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart, I'm sure you're all well aware from the stories we hear on our acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with a potential aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions. William. I've gained the conversation topic biohazard bin. I thought it said biohazard bun for a second, and I was like, oh, do you know what? That tastes kind of... That sounds kind of tasty. I want a biohazard bun. Research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible it can grow into, along with any desirous yield it may generate, or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. In the small amount of time I have spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends towards human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropoidic seal in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it long-term to anthropoid stimuli. This is so much. What have I not searched already? 3 I know I've searched. Oh my god, I'm like falling asleep. Educational posters, what are these? Oh, would you look at that? A set of procedures regarding disposal / interment. The researcher will seal off the enclosure bars, ensuring minimal gas leak during later fumigating process, and then retrieve the burn barrel and place it near the enclosure. Allow at least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area nor any part of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air purifier respirator. The research will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosure area. Wait 30 minutes and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 through 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror masks and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. If it is not in full dormancy, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned powered drills, quickly remove any enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Put them aside for later reinstallation. Put the organism into the burn barrel. Incinerate the organism thoroughly. Wait for any smoke to be properly cleared by the fan system. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it in the mirror box. Yeah, Adrienne is fucked. I'm really glad that you were keeping track of that because I was not. The other researcher will sift through the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. Let's write that down. Let's put that in the chat. Guston, can you please write down 323245 for me? The researchers will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. Oh, I sure am glad that was the last of that. Did I do... Yeah, I did all 3 of these already. Okay, I think I've looked at everything here. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do just that. Thank you, Guston. I am going to chill out for a 10-minute reprieve, and then I'll decide if I want to continue with this or maybe jump into something else. But we will see how we go. I will be back in 10. Thereabouts. I'm going to make tea and or coffee. And maybe step outside. Maybe touch some grass.